children, students of Buddhist Sunday School, parents and grandparents, teachers of Sunday School and moral education. May you all be well and peaceful. We are going to tell you a story that has very good moral lessons. The story is titled The Clever Little Rabbit. So specially dedicated for the primary school children. Secondary students also can follow the presentation and learn some English as well. And teachers can actually tell this story also to other students. So let us show you the PowerPoint of the clever little rabbit. A story with a moral. And you can see the picture here. It concerns a clever little rabbit. And then you can see that this is a drawing of a wolf. Big bad wolf. So of course this is just an animated cartoon. Now let us start the story. I'll read the narration and comment on the story as we go along. Okay. Now let us see the story. Here you have another picture of the clever little rabbit, right? And you can see the big bad wolf. And of course, this is the clever little rabbit. That is the wolf. Well, the wolf, he can howl at night and he goes, looking for food to eat, small animals, right? And some wolves can attack people also. So you have to be very careful when you go to the places, the jungles or the forests or the mountainside where there are wolves. One day, a little rabbit says to his mother, "There are a lot of mushrooms on the mountain slope. Let me pick some for you, all right?" This is a very good little rabbit, right? Very, very kind, very devoted to the parents, always helping the mother, father. So this rabbit tells the mother that he's going out to the mountain slope where there are a lot of mushrooms for them to eat. So he says he will pick some of the mushrooms for the family. So you see such a nice little rabbit. The mother rabbit says, "It's good that you want to help me, but remember, don't go too far away." The mother, of course, is very pleased that the rabbit is such a good son and so helpful. He wants to help to get food for the family. But the mother gives this advice: don't go too far because there are big animals which can eat rabbits. So you have to be careful. So this is the advice the mother gives to the little rabbit, the clever little rabbit, the son probably. Saying, I think it's not mentioned now whether it's a male or a female. So let us see what happens now. "All right, mother," says the little rabbit. He takes a small basket and happily hops out of the house. Now this rabbit always listens to the advice of the mother and also the father. It's a good son. So he says, "I will be careful, mother." So he takes a small basket and happily hops. A rabbit can hop very well, right? Hop out of the house. So let us see what is next. So when the little rabbit reaches the mountain area, then he notices there are a lot of mushrooms on the mountain slope, right? You know, the slope, the slanting side of the mountain. Huh? The little rabbit picks the mushrooms, these mushrooms. Soon his basket is full of mushrooms. But you have to be careful actually. There are some mushrooms that are poisonous. Cendawan. So, but he knows, you see, these animals know which are the edible food and which are the poisonous ones. And he knows that these mushrooms are safe to eat. So he fills his basket with the mushroom. Perhaps getting now ready to go back to give to the mother. But then what happens? Suddenly, the little rabbit sees a big wolf nearby. The big wolf is coming. He's coming to find food to eat. And the big bad wolf likes to eat little rabbits. So this little rabbit has to think very fast. He does not have time to run away because the wolf can run very, very fast. So he's of course very frightened, but he still tries to think of a way to escape from being killed by the big bad wolf. So in other words, even though he is very frightened, he still tries to keep his mind cool, calm, so that he can think of an idea to escape. Otherwise, he will be killed, eaten by the big bad wolf. Then, very quickly, he has an idea. What is the idea? Let us look at the idea. You know what this little rabbit does? Oh, oh, screams the little rabbit. Oosh, oosh, my stomach is so painful. He keeps pressing his stomach, right? So he knows the wolf can hear him. So he shouts and screams, oh, oh, ayo, ayo. Very painful, very painful. My stomach is so painful. And he keeps pressing his stomach. So what does the big bad wolf do? So the wolf comes nearer. Actually, he's thinking of eating the little rabbit. But the wolf is surprised and he screams. Why is he screaming in pain? So the wolf asks the rabbit, what is happening to you? What is happening to you? Asked the wolf. I must have eaten some poisonous mushrooms, cries the little rabbit. My stomach is very painful. I will die in a short while. This is his plan to escape from being eaten by the big bad wolf. So he tells the wolf, he says, I have just eaten the poisonous mushroom and now my stomach is very, very painful. I know I will die in a short while with the poisonous mushrooms in my stomach. So that's what the little rabbit says. Right? He pretends to cry, right? So what does the little rabbit do next? So after having told the big bad wolf that the mushrooms that he has just eaten has poisoned him. So then he pretends to roll. The little rabbit rolls about on the ground, like struggling in pain. And then he closes his eyes and pretends to be dead, right? So very, very smart. He has a plan, you see. So he closes his eyes and then he just pretends to be dead by lying on the ground very still, not moving, as if he were dead. Right. So let's see what happens next. Can the wolf be fooled, or will the wolf eat the little rabbit? So that is the exciting part, isn't it? So what happens next? So the wolf comes near the little rabbit. It looks, examines the little rabbit, but the little rabbit is very, very still. He's pretending that he's dead, not moving at all. So the wolf is convinced. He believes that the rabbit is actually dead. So the wolf thinks to himself, "Ay, rabbit meat is delicious. What a pity it is poison." Delicious means very nice to eat. Wolves like to eat rabbit meat. But he has just heard the rabbit telling him, inside the stomach, poisonous, there are poisonous mushrooms. So of course the wolf is very scared lah. If he were to eat the rabbit, the poisonous mushrooms will go into him and he may die also. That's what he thinks lah. So that is a wolf howling, howling. So if you want a pity, I cannot eat the rabbit. It is poison already. So the wolf sniffs. Sniffs means smells, right? It smells very heavily with some sound also, sniffing at the little rabbit for a while. And the rabbit actually is very smart. He keeps still, not moving, pretends to be dead. So the wolf, convinced that the rabbit is dead, with the dead mushrooms, poisonous, in the stomach. He wouldn't dare to eat the rabbit for fear that the poisonous mushrooms would also kill him, the wolf. So what does he do? He goes away. He goes away, leaving the little rabbit behind. So you see how smart the rabbit is. So when the wolf is far away, the rabbit, he can sense when the wolf has gone far away, the little rabbit quickly gets up, right? And he picks his basket that still contains, of course, the mushrooms, which are actually safe to eat, and he runs home as fast as he can. So you see, the little rabbit has outsmarted the wolf. So when the little rabbit reaches his home, he tells his mother about meeting the big wolf, how close he was to being killed by the wolf. So he tells the mother what he has done to save himself. He narrates all that happened to escape from the big bad wolf. So, wow, after listening to the little rabbit, the mother rabbit happily hugs him. The mother is so happy and relieved, so happy with the son. And the mother says very proudly, "What a clever child you are. Because of your smart thinking, you were able to escape from the wolf. Otherwise, mother would lose you already. You would have been eaten by the big bad wolf." So, the rabbit is safe, and of course, the mother is very happy with the son. Now, this is a very, very simple story, but we are going to see some important lessons and to discuss some of the moral points in the story. But before that, we can learn some English vocabulary words as well as some comprehension questions. This way, you can also improve your English, not just learning moral lessons alone, which are of course the most important. So let us now look at the English lesson. Of course, there is a summarized moral. Quick thinking can help you when suddenly there is danger. After we go into more details about the moral lessons that you can learn. Now let's look at the words. Some of you may not know the meaning. So let us go over one by one. Slope. Remember just now you came across slope of the mountain. Slope of the mountain means the side, the slanting side, the slope. Some mountains are very steep, right? So the slope is steep. Some not so steep. I suppose this one are not so steep. Screams. That is now you came across this word. The little rabbit, right? He screams, saying that his stomach is very painful. He's pretending lah. So screams means cries out loudly. Menjerit lah. Menjerit. Pressing the stomach. He pushing the stomach. Press because he has to pretend that the stomach is very painful, isn't it? So he presses the stomach. Pressing, pushing. Poisonous, it can make a person ill or die, something that a chemical, right, that is poisonous can make a person fall ill or die. Like certain frogs, are poisonous. And snakes also have the venom, the poisons. So when such snakes bite you, you have to quickly find a cure, an antidote. Otherwise, you can die. Some spiders also are poisonous. Some frogs. And of course, right, some of the jungle products, like certain types of wild mushrooms, that's poisonous. Beracun. And then pretends. Pretend means pura-pura. Behaves in a way that is not true. Of course, he has to think of this way to escape being killed by the wolf. Delicious. Delicious is now I mentioned. The food is delicious, very good to eat. For the snake, what type of food? Maybe certain animals will be delicious. For the wolf, rabbit meat is delicious, and perhaps also some chickens, right? Or some small animals, rats, right? Sneeze, just now I mentioned. Sneeze means smell. It smells something, right? Heavily, and you make some sound with the nostrils, the nose. So it's sniffing at the rabbit that is pretending to be dead, right? And the rabbit is keeping very still. So you know the meanings of these words. Take note of the spelling also. Now let us now try to answer the questions. Why does the little rabbit go to the mountain slope? Now you see the question is in the present tense. In fact, this story is narrated or is told all in the present tense. So when the question is asked in the present tense, you also answer in the present tense. So like this, why does the little rabbit go to the mountain slope? The little rabbit goes to collect some mushrooms or to pick some mushrooms for the mother. That is why the little rabbit goes to the mountain slope, right? To pick the mushrooms from the mountain slope. So what frightens the little rabbit? Notice present tense, what frightens? So it's a big wolf coming along that frightens the little rabbit, isn't it? Just now you have seen the picture and it is a big wolf. So it is a big wolf coming along, right, to perhaps eat the little rabbit. That frightens this little rabbit. What does the little rabbit say has made his stomach painful? The little rabbit says that he has eaten the poisonous mushrooms, and the poisonous mushrooms have made his stomach painful. So he's bluffing in order to escape from being killed. So the little rabbit says that the poisonous mushrooms that he has eaten are making his stomach painful. And he's telling the wolf also that he's going to die soon. what does the little rabbit pretend to do? So the little rabbit pretends to roll. He rolls on the ground and he pretends to die. Right? He rolls onto the ground and then keeps very, very still. He pretends to die. Why does the wolf not eat the little rabbit? The wolf is afraid of the poisonous mushrooms in the rabbit's stomach. The wolf is afraid that if he were to eat the rabbit, he will also be poisoned by the poisonous mushrooms. So the wolf, right, does not eat the little rabbit for fear of the poisonous mushrooms in the stomach of the rabbit. So you see, if you understand the story, it's not difficult to answer the questions, isn't it? So this is the simple English lesson from this story. So now let us go to the more important thing of summarizing the important moral lessons that you can learn. Right? Now we come to this final part, lessons to learn. Right. So let us see. First lesson, you must always help your parents. So just now you saw the picture and also the saying of the little rabbit. He say, I'm going to collect some mushrooms for you, mother. That is a very good thing. Parents will be very happy if their children offer help at home. But nowadays, so many children are not doing that. They expect the Indonesian maid or the servants or the parents to do all the things or the grandparents. They don't help, and that is not good. Because when you grow up also, you have that very unhelpful character and people will not like you. So it's good to help. Just like in Sunday school, we have some students, not many actually, very, very good in the Sunday school. They come earlier, they help the teachers to sweep the floor, right? To collect the dustbins and then throw the rubbish elsewhere, right, into the big tong sampah. And then to help to water the plants, some of them, very good. You see, and then to arrange the classroom, some of them. So they do many good things, and they even get ready the chanting books, right, and then to get ready the cushions, right, and then to help the teachers in so many ways. These students are generally well liked by the teachers because they are helpful. At the end of the year, during the prize giving ceremony, they are given the prizes for being most helpful, of good character. So that's the first lesson. And the second one, you must heed your parents' advice. In this case here, the mother just now, you saw, right, asked her son not to go too far because sometimes young children, in this case, of course, the young rabbit, they do not know of the dangers outside, right? That for us, outside you have so many bad hats, potential kidnappers, robbers, thieves, people who can do harm to you. So the teachers give you the advice. Don't just go out of the PBHP premises. Don't go out into the main road because you have motor cars which are speeding. Very dangerous, isn't it? So you must heed your parents' advice and also the teacher's advice and your grandparents' advice, people who are more educated, people who are older than you and they know of all the dangers. But some children, they don't want to listen and get into trouble, right? And then get the suffering and the pain. I know. Even my secondary students sometimes don't want to listen to advice. When I advise them not to speed in the motorbikes, to wear their helmets properly, they laugh. They say, don't worry, I know the policemen, wow, you know, give this type of answers. They think they want to be corrupted, to bribe the policeman. So even secondary students, I find not easy sometimes to advise them. They don't want to listen. So if you are able to heed people's advice, you will be safe. And then people like you, they say that you are wise, you're obedient, and follow good advice. You must learn how to think clearly. In this case here, you see, right? The rabbit, even though the rabbit is frightened, but he still remains calm and then tries to think clearly of a plan, of an idea to escape from being eaten by the big bad wolf, isn't it? Now we find that not all people are trained to think clearly. So you must learn through various methods like reading more educational books, right? Then you learn of methods where you can think better. Then in the Sunday school, the teachers, we have a lesson called English and Thinking. We teach you how to think. And then also, sometimes you watch very good TV programs. So various ways, or you talk to teachers, or maybe your grandparents, who can show you ways where you can be thinking more clearly, isn't it? So this is the third lesson. Be mindful always, don't panic. A person who is not mindful is careless, heedless, right? He is not aware of the dangers in the surroundings. But this rabbit is very smart. He is mindful also. He knows, when the wolf is approaching, he is mindful, he knows already. And he also knows that he cannot run away in time, he cannot escape. So he tries to keep cool. He doesn't panic. Now, if you panic, you cannot think clearly. And some will think foolishly. Like if he's a foolish rabbit, he will try to run, and that's the end. What will happen? The wolf can run very fast and pounce on the rabbit and kill the rabbit and eat the rabbit, isn't it? So very important. Be always mindful. Don't panic. Keep your mind calm, clear, and then start thinking of a way. And that's what the clever little rabbit does. So that is a very important lesson, isn't it? Then you have to use your wisdom, right? Your good thinking. Wisdom is knowing what to do, right? In order to have the wisdom, kebijaksanaan, you have to learn good dharma. If you learn more and more dharma, you will have more wisdom, right? So wisdom is a very, very important quality. You are wise. You know what are the things you have to do, what are the things you cannot do, what is right, what is wrong. And then if you have the wisdom, you will be able to solve more easily many of your problems. Problems in your studies, problems at home, problems relating to other people, with your friends, and so on. You can use your wisdom to solve this problem. And the best way to improve your wisdom is to learn more and more Dharma. And that's what you're supposed to do in Sunday school, right? So that's the end of this lesson. A very, very simple story, but with very important moral lessons, Dharma points where you can practice. So you can also share this story with your friends. So your friends also can learn important things of morals, isn't it? And important Dharma also. And by sharing with others, you are actually doing good because you are helping other people. So sharing good things like, good moral lessons, Dharma is meritorious. That means it will bring you benefits later on, right? So I hope you have all benefited from this presentation. I would like to thank all of you and also parents, grandparents, and teachers for taking time to follow this presentation and the Dharma points conveyed. To end this, we shall now say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you all be well and peaceful. Thank you.